This tutorial explains revision plans as a tool for managing feedback as a student writer. So let's imagine that it's Saturday night and you've just submitted a paper draft like your instructor asked you to. You kick up your feet, time to relax, right? Your work here is done. Well, not so fast. Strong writers seek feedback. It's a good idea to ask for feedback on your paper, and you can do so from your instructor, another classmate, or even a writing studio tutor. It's also possible that your instructor has integrated feedback directly into the course. Perhaps your professor commented on your draft, or they had you do peer review for the project. If that's so, now imagine that Saturday night and you've received feedback from your instructor and peers. You open the paper and you just find it covered in comments, and it's a very overwhelming feeling. So, what do you do now? Well, feedback works best when you use it. So, how do professional and experienced writers manage feedback? Well, professional writers use revision plans to manage their workloads and navigate editor and reviewer comments. And so, as a student writer, you can create a revision plan to manage your instructor or peer feedback, create a plan, and manage your time. This is something that happens all the time in the professional writing world. For example, your professors submit articles to academic journals and they get emails back like the one on the screen. Editors will say, "Thank you for submitting the manuscript," and they might decide that the manuscript needs major revision. In these situations, professional writers need to manage their revisions. And one way to do this is through the revision plan, like the one on the screen. So, as a student, you can come up with a revision plan to manage your instructor or peer feedback. What you will do is create a table with 4 columns and as many rows as you need to put each piece of feedback in its own row. You'll have a column to copy paste the feedback from your instructor. Then you'll have a column for your thoughts where you just get to kind of brainstorm whether or not you understand the feedback and kind of think about how you might approach it. Then you detail your plan and assign yourself a due date. And also update your status. When you're done, make sure to mark done and even reward yourself. So, why do revision plans? Do they actually work? Well, research shows that revision plans are really important because students don't always read instructors' feedback because it's so overwhelming. So, revision plans can improve your uptake or use of feedback. It can also improve your metacognition, which is a fancy word for saying what you know about what you know. So, by reflecting on the different things that you need to work on in your writing, you become more aware of the things that you need to work on. And it can also improve your transfer of learning from one situation to another situation. Also, as students, sometimes we feel that we don't know what to write or how to develop our thoughts. And doing a revision plan can improve your writing and thinking because it encourages you to engage with other readers, like your instructor or peers, perspectives on your work. Finally, you probably want to learn how to write for your field, whether that's an academic field or you're going to be going into the workplace doing some workplace writing. And this kind of plan teaches you how other writers work. So it's really easy to create a revision plan. First, you just reread your paper, you read the feedback you received, and you create the 4 column table. Now, sometimes instructors and peers will leave marginal comments like the one on the screen here. And if so, you don't need to do this step. But if your instructor or peer didn't put the feedback directly in the draft, you might then copy paste your plan into the draft so that you know exactly where you need to revise. Now, as you're doing this, you'll be confronted with several decisions. For example, you'll have to decide which feedback is the most important to handle first. You'll need to think about making sure that you revise for large issues like content, ideas, and development before you address grammar. How will you handle feedback you don't understand? By doing this kind of revision plan, You might even be able to share it with an instructor or a tutor or a peer to ask clarifying questions about the feedback. If you receive similar feedback from multiple people, how will you organize it in the table? For example, you might have a row just for feedback from multiple people about the organization of the piece. How will you keep track of changes you've already made? Will you use that far right column where you put in the progress and then the due date? And how will you show professionalism in the My Thoughts column? Now, the revision plan is mostly for you, but some instructors might collect them. And if your instructor is going to see your revision plan, you need to make sure that as you're processing your thoughts, you're still respectful about the person who gave the feedback, and you ask questions of your instructor to clarify their feedback if need be. When you're done, like I said, you might submit and share your revision plan with your instructor, or you might take it to the writing studio and ask a tutor to work through your revisions with you. Also, make sure that you check off your revisions as you complete them, reward yourself for making revisions, and like I said, consider taking the feedback and draft and revision plan to the Writing Center. So, takeaways: strong writers seek feedback, strong writers use feedback, and revision plans help you to manage feedback. Thank you, and for more resources for writers, visit us at speakwrite.wvu.edu.